El futuro simple. Cuando usamos el futuro simple? We use the simple future tense to express actions and events in the future. The simple future communicates more certainty and formality than the ir plus a plus infinitive construction that you've probably encountered in previous Spanish classes. We have two examples of sentences here that use future verbs. El primer ejemplo es: los educadores en 20 años serán bilingües. El segundo ejemplo es: todos los estudiantes aprenderán con tecnología nueva. ¿Cómo formamos el futuro simple? To form the simple future for regular verbs is pretty simple. You are not going to remove the infinitive ending of the verb, so you will not take off the AR, the ER, or the IR. In other words, you're just not going to conjugate it. You're going to leave it as is. Then you're going to attach the appropriate simple future ending to the end of the infinitive. Let's practice with an AR verb such as hablar. So we're not removing the AR that you see in gold. We're keeping it, and we're just adding the ending depending on who our subject is. So go ahead and pause this video. Write out the conjugations to make sure you have them right, and the next slide will have the answers for you. Here are the answers. So these are the simple future endings for verbs that end in AR, such as hablar. Pay attention to the accent marks. You'll see that there's an accent mark on every form except for the nosotros form. And as you'll see as you see more examples, all these endings are going to stay the same no matter what kind of verb it is, AR, ER, or IR. All that will really change is that verb in the infinitive. Everything else, though, in the gold, those endings, stays the same. Now let's practice with an ER verb such as comer. So same as before, pause this video, add the simple future endings, and use the next slide to check your answers. Here are the answers for verbs that end in ER, such as comer. Remember our accent marks, and remember that this looks the same, except the difference is that the verb is comer instead of hablar. So for instance, for the yo form, instead of hablaré, tenemos comeré. And let's practice one more time with an IR verb, such as escribir. Keep it in the infinitive, add your endings, pause this video so you can write out the endings or the conjugations just to be sure, and your answers will be on the next slide. Here are the simple future endings for verbs that end in IR, such as escribir. Vamos a practicar. We have two sentences here for you to fill in the blanks. The first one, you'll be conjugating the verb viajar, and the second one, you'll be conjugating the verb asistir, so an AR and IR verb. But as we know from the previous slides, it doesn't matter if it's an AR or IR verb. It's going to act the same. So pause this video, fill in the blanks. The next slide will tell you the answers. Número uno, ¿tú viajarás a California? Will you travel to California? Número dos, Sarah o Sara asistirá a una escuela bilingüe. Sarah will attend a bilingual school. One other thing that we need to talk about are los verbos irregulares, because there are various irregular verbs in the Spanish simple future. And while those future endings are still staying the same, it's the stems of the verbs that vary. An example is the verb saber, so you can see that it doesn't stay in its infinitive. It isn't in the yo form saberé, it's sabre. So it's not an infinitive anymore because it's irregular. The endings stay the same, but that stem has to change. Here's a more comprehensive list of those verbs that are going to have irregular stems. And we've included the simple future endings on this slide so that you could pause the slide, see all these verbs together, and practice the conjugations on your own. Finalmente, practicamos otra vez con verbos irregulares. So with number one, you're going to conjugate the irregular verb venir in the yo form for the future. And for number two, tener, another irregular verb. So pause this video, read the sentences, conjugate your verbs, and the next slide will have your answers. Número uno, yo vendré a la fiesta este viernes. I will come to the party this Friday. Número dos, ellos tendrán un examen la semana que viene. They will have an exam next week.